Russian jeweler, call him Vladimir. Need a couple thousand, get the shit I wear. Came for nothing, make me wanna drop a tear. Made a bitch cry in my denim tear. I ain't see flocking like 5 years, and it's crazy, got another 5 years. I'm going fast, but need to go fast. Court judge the cover and don't read a chapter. Get the money first, the ops after. I'm just a real Grinch turn rapper. My Jack boys got trackers. Grinched up, never been a slut. When you ugly and get money, you attractive. Yeah, I rap, but I'm still active. I walk in Christian like a Baptist. They don't see the vision, get them glasses. When it's smoke, glitter, turn them ashes. Keep looking at my phone, so I'm not on lashes. On the road to riches, I'm in traffic. Get the pack messing like magic. I got Angie, just shots around. Depending on ex, old friends know they hating on me. The plaque maids know they waiting on me. But for now, a pint sale waiting for me. And I'm 10 minutes. Can't see the bullshit cause the frame's in it. If I'm in that car, you know them things in it.
Superior outlet.
I need another perk, I ain't feeling it. She didn't let me hit her from the side, I was killing it. She didn't let me fuck first night for the experience. She gon' put her pussy on the floor, there ain't no fear in it. You running through my phone, got you hurt now. You done found out some deeper shit, so it's worse now. Never could stack the money up, I had to learn how. I feel like it had to be a setup, so I turned out. Streets real, ain't no time for tearing up. Got steered the wrong way, I should've popped who led us. The streets adopted me, the corner stores fed us. You tend to make the most progression when you fed up. Pressure break a weak link, you gotta hold your head up. I don't even be surprised when a nigga says something. How the fuck she know about me? Nigga must've said something. I'ma pull up in that Gucci button up, unbutton. Scuff these, ash on my jeans, I'm thuggin'. Fitted cap turn, pockets big like a scourges. Shake when I speak cause I be living every word. I be doing something that's illegal every turn. 2 fibers eyes, 2 fibers shirt. I took the Rex a little to the side when I stir. I don't like now while I drive up the serve. I'm the type of nigga cop a big or the work. You the type of nigga feel big on the first. Okay, this time the Gucci sign on side of the shirt. Numb to the pain, that part of me don't even work. Numb to the pain, that part of me don't even work.
Bitch trying to fuck knowing I'm high off all these perks. Like baby, now right now that part of me don't even work. I might fuck around and ooh the line of the perk. My breath smell like a freshly cracked pint when I burp. Sell me some cut, you must wanna die over the syrup. Trying to drink raw, wasted the whole line on my shirt. I'm on 7 oxycons, babe, my mind don't even work. I'm so hot, if I try to squint my eyes, it's gon' hurt. I told the little bitch bend over and knock their frame loose. I hit a nigga in his head and waste brain juice. Trying to climb a tree again, that's what cocaine do. Niggas act like Superman with paper, what you can't do?
We gon' take it to the moon and then beyond it. Knowing it's a snake around be fucking with my conscience. I be serving everything raw without the condom. Can't nobody stop what's coming up and that's a promise. I'ma wiggle around in every city trying to find it. I turn the music up to 50 M's when I'm riding. Cause rapping got me stuck with 50 M's on my mind. If I ain't looking through a tinted lens, I ain't driving.
I'll make a nigga disappear, but I do not know magic. A nigga said he was gonna slide, but that is not gonna happen. I'll make a nigga car stop like he got caught in traffic. I feel like Kobe, if I shoot it, I am not gonna pass it. I'll put a nigga on the picture, I don't need a flyer. Bro, just hit the road by yourself, he don't need a driver. Flame a nigga up with 1 strike, I don't need a lighter. Hit him far away with a K, I don't need a sniper. I hate when a snake around, that shit irk my nerves. High as hell, I had a play, I forgot my girl. Nigga thought he had it planned out, but it's not gonna work. Nigga thought he had act, it was not no perk. Serving all the fiends, I got a line on the first. A nigga hit me up, he got a pound for a verse. You can't hit my cup, I paid that high for the perk. He need a new connect, he paid that high for the work.
Bitch, and dug me to the hall
process them into heroin.
I know consistency is key, but it's hard to stay consistent when you're in the mix and consistently a G. I'm still dishing out them keys, so I'm sorry if you're missing me on beats. Wanna know why I'm missing? Listen to me, please. I walk around town with enough jewels to change a nigga's life, so I gotta keep a pack that will take a nigga's life. And all them races on my back, police chases from a racist in the night. Now I'm with my niggas racing in Dubai. All I ever done was trap, then I changed it to the mic. But this beef will never change, that shit's engraved into my life. I lost some niggas that I love, their names engraved into my eyes. But wait, caught some niggas slipping first and made them pay the price. When I was younger, never thought I'd be debating on a price. With my youngers, ready to go take a nigga's life. And when they take this nigga's life, no, I'm breaking them a slice. Turn your block more smoky than Jamaican niggas' nights. Are they racist, fam? Trying to be funny or trying to relate to man? 60-year-old businessman trying to fist bump me instead of come and shake my hand. Like I ain't the same as man. They judge me in the meetings before I even get to say my plan. Plus every time I hit the booth, my nigga needs a rental car. My nigga needs some money now. My nigga needs a brick or loose. My brother's on the road to jail and he needs a home as well. The man just lost their phone as well. That's another rack to broski's girl. You know the crew's fire. Amount of sticks I lost could go and fucking start a huge fire. Trying to focus on business and move higher. Still got a drip and show them who's flyer. Stuck up on the road like a new tire. You liar. Meanwhile them clowns still trying to speak on my name. But between all them lames, them boys ain't never left nothing for us to sleep in the rain. But really rapping about them shootings, finding cheeky and strange. You can find me where the peace to be made. Me and my BM started speaking again. I know she shed a tear. When I had to leave it was pain. But at least you get to weep and arrange. Sometimes I don't see my daughter for a couple weeks and it's pain. But if I'm sitting there every day, my dreams slip away. Then I'll be broken. Mommy will be acting more funny than she's been when I'm paid. G-Ducks, it's been a while since I've been to your grave. Cause Billy and your brother died and it's increasing my pain. I feel them streets in my veins, them streets feel it the same. Mom had me at 18 and she was feeling to blame. And mom, I'm feeling your pain. But my dad could have been there, or Fed and Fred would have been just the same. For all I need is a chain, now all I need is a plane. Turn myself to a business, now it's easy to say. Right now, I'm legally and illegally paid, so I could quit rap today. Look like I'm streaming away. So many hoes that I pipe, I don't even know why I lie. I just know they don't love me, I need to hold me a wife, so I can settle down and focus in life. Or I'm gonna die alone in this life with just a whole load of eyes. Still the scariest time, it's going home in the night. I gotta keep my eyes so open and wide, just in case they get the low on my home. And I didn't know, and they tried, that's how we got the low on your bro. He had to go to the sky every day. This is really how it goes to survive, how it goes in this life. How I'm grown, and I still gotta go with my knife. Even when I fucking go to the bar, I only get peace when I'm closing my eyes. I used to only wear designer.
What is going on, family? Drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 111 if you guys can hear me okay. Good morning. And welcome to London Session. Beautiful. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from the world. For me, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. You guys probably hear something flicking in the back. Just listening to the Lil Wayne album. But I hope everybody is having an amazing... I don't even know what day it is. Doesn't even matter, right? Time, I believe, was a social construct that was designed to keep man sane. I believe if there was no time, people would just be fucking crazy. Like, you know, people are already crazy, but I just think they'd be crazy. It's really what I believe. But, you know, welcome to London Stream. We're going to be taking a look at a few things today. Obviously, if you guys have eyes and you guys are using them and you're looking at the screen, we're looking at gold. Looking at potential re-entry areas. If you guys are on the squad, you guys would have the bottom. So, you know, we're currently in from the bottom. And in my eyes, if we're going to On the weekly, on DXY, if we're really going to continue to fall, which is what I would like to see. Personally, like I said, this weekly close is going to dictate whether or not DXY is really just going to continue higher, or if it's going to ideally just get that continuation towards the downside. So as of right now, what I would do if I were you, I would set like alerts around 1915. I like 1915 on the dot. I think we'll tap that. But in terms of really just identifying our point of interest, I'm more or less just paying attention to this hourly candle right here. So this is really where I'm looking personally. And I would just want to see a continuation towards the upside. The way that price is printing right now, ideally this candle right now, this current hourly candle, would be that third consecutive buy candle. If you guys just understand what we look for in terms of confirming the institutions are behind the move, the institutions are going to leave a footprint. So typically they're going to leave, like I said, anywhere from 3 to 7 candles consecutively in the direction that they want the market to go. So as of right now, this would be the third consecutive candle. So one of two things can happen, right? What I anticipate, and this is what I think is going to happen, I think we're just going to fly. And I think that for the news, either PPI or this consumer sentiment, I think we're probably then going to probably wick down, and that's when we could see this potential area get filled. But if we fill this before the news, ideally I would look to just break even before the news, just in case, right? Some crazy shit happens, like it could literally come back and just wick your entry out at break even and then fly, but it could also go the complete opposite direction. And that's what we really have to understand as well. So for me, more or less what I want to see, like I really just want to see price close above this area, this 1919 area. And like I want to see like a bullish close. Like I want to see a very large engulfing candle, just to show that there's a lot of buying pressure in the market. To me, that would really, that would give me a lot of confidence in terms of just being able to see this continue higher. Like I said, as of now, it's a fairly clean reaction, and we don't really have to expect it to come back right now. Truthfully, this type of re-entry I would expect to occur more than likely during New York. But at the same time, it's the end of the week, so we really could see what happens. News is the excuse, right? So if we see ourselves come back down before, fill this, what I anticipate is the news just to really just drive us higher. Overall, like I said, we could really come back down to this same area, or obviously we could go lower, but right. I have both of those already. Okay, so this is actually, truthfully, I was excited. I don't know about you guys, but I get excited when I trade sometimes because it's just like fun. It's like a little game. It's like sometimes you don't even play the game, but you watch, right? You watch. So to me, it's exciting. But just looking at this immediately, I like kind of what's going on, because just taking a look at this, it looks like we've really just been consolidating. It looks like we have a lot of highs that we could potentially take. So right now, in terms of liquidity-wise, it looks like there's a lot of liquidity on the upside. But in terms of just where we're at as well, yeah, I really think we could see longs just with how the hourly opened, or how that last previous 30-minute candle. I like how this 15-minute candle opened straight down. So JER 30, most of you guys should have this on your broker. It should literally be JER 30, or it could potentially be something else. But what I would anticipate right now, just based off of what we're seeing right now, to me, I could see longs on this. So let's really sit here and dissect. Like, we could see us potentially come a little bit lower than here, but just with how this hourly initially started London session, I like how we kind of wick down. I just like this price action. I like how many wicks there are. it looks pretty healthy. It looks clean, right? Even on the 3 minute, we're slowly starting to kind of walk price up. So what we could see potentially on JUR 30, right? Ideally, like I said, we're looking to target these highs. So we could potentially see a long position. To me, I wouldn't buy it right now per se. I would look to ideally hopefully catch this pullback at 315. Okay, so one sec. I don't even have this shit pulled up on mine either. JUR 30 index. Right, so it's basically the same as obviously like a US 30 or like a NAS, right? It's not as slow as a S&P per se, right? So that's one thing to note on JUR, okay? Just if you guys are taking any type of position. So like I said, we could really see price continue a little bit lower, right? This is why we're kind of taking like a little bit of a tighter area, because to me, if it does punch lower, like I wouldn't really be surprised if we came a little bit deeper into here, right? But you can see as we're immediately coming into this like 3 minute open, right, we punch down, and you can see we're obviously getting a little bit of a reaction to the upside, so that's good. To me, ideally, waiting another 2 minutes as well at 3:15. If you guys just really pay attention to candle opens, like 15, 30, 45, and fresh on the hour. If you just missed the entry, typically at the beginning of the next candle open, the next major 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly, whatever the case may be, that's where you're going to get your re-entry. Okay, so that's one thing to really note when you're sitting here and you're taking just particular positions in the market. Did anybody take Integer? I personally took a little bit. I didn't really get my full position on. I got about a quarter of my position on. So right now, what could I buy? I could buy like a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich for like 3 people right now. No cap. But listen, if we were in Texas, we go get some street tacos. Oh man, everyone on the call is eating. Everybody on the call is getting at least 1 taco. No, truthfully, we could get two tacos, and you can't get an individual bev, but you could get like a for the gang bev. You know, we could get like a 2-liter. But did anybody take JUR 30? Drop a 333 in the chat if you're in JUR 30. With your boy. Hopefully I'm not alone. Right, like I said, in the next 15 seconds, ideally, if we could get a punch back down to this box, would be lovely. We don't have to. We truthfully will probably still come back to the top of it. So just based off of that 3-minute close, like that's beautiful. It's literally exactly what we'd want to see. Beginning of this new 15-minute, ideally, we should see it come back down. At the very least, it's going to come and it's going to fill this, in my opinion. We obviously don't have to, but if I were to just see an immediate fill, like this is at the very least where I'd see it go, but I would like to see it come back down here. Just a little quick wick. Like you see how we have a wick right here? To me, I would want to see another wick on this candle, but we don't have to. So that's one thing to keep in mind, okay? So don't necessarily sit here and have the expectation that we're going to come lower than where we're at, because truthfully, in terms of a 3-minute fill, we actually filled the 3-minute imbalance right here, right? What I was looking to see filled is the 5-minute, but if we go to the lower time frame and the smaller the time frame, if it's already filled, ideally the higher time frame fills are not going to necessarily be as valid, right? If we have an insufficiency and it looks insufficient on the 5-minute, but then we go to the 3-minute and it's not there, it actually got filled, to me, that's just a sign that, like I said, we're just going to see this continuation. So truthfully, if you were to even take this now, I would just take like a stop, like literally below this immediate low. You could still get in with a quick 10-15 point risk. To the high still is a 1 to 7. Like I said, I would want to see this high get taken at the very least, like first target. If you were to able to have gotten in a little bit lower, like I said, that's just the benefit of getting in quick when price action is just in our area. Like I said, I literally looked at this for 2 seconds and I was able to sit here and facilitate a buy, just understanding like the market opens. The equivalent to what just happened right now and what's gonna happen, like truthfully, 3:30 in 15 minutes, we're really gonna see what's up. Because like the 3:30 open is like the equivalent to like the 9:30 New York open. So this is why we really have to sit here and like truthfully we could come all the way back down. You know, we could come all the way back down into this area, right? Truthfully, like back into this box. And even at 3:30 could be that little sweep where we take this low and then get that continuation potentially a little bit lower into this other area. But at 3:30 as well, we'll kind of be able to see how the candle opens and even how this candle closes, right? We wouldn't want to see an engulfing candle in this case. To me, if it doesn't close bullish, that's cool per se. It just shouldn't really come back down and close on our initial entry, in my eyes. So if it's really valid to continue higher, we're really just going to want to see price just trickle up, kind of like how it's doing right now, right? It wick back down and tap this area. So now you can see even in terms of the 5 minute, right? So the 5 minute, this area, like this is why I say price will never really leave you if you just kind of understand how to play the fills. Because if you missed it and you played this and you stop loss below here, about 10 points, give or take, maybe 12 points, 13 points, it's like you're already up like damn near a 1-to-1, right? So just being able to be up a 1-to-1 without price even like moving, that's something that's going to be ideal. But it's not like we're just guessing, like we're not just picking a random area. Like I gave you, this is the very least it should come back to. This is where we would like it to come back to. So this is where a lot of people kind of get stuck because they want price to come back to like the lowest area, the highest area to be able to get the best risk to reward. But then sometimes it might just feel something a little bit high. Like right now, all of this price action is very healthy. On the 3 minute, this is so healthy towards the upside. This is what you want to see. Like you see how there's this wicks to the upside, but we're closing bullish. Like this is beautiful. Even this candle right now, it's bearish, but you have to look. This is we're looking at the 3 minute time frame. This candle just opened literally 1 minute ago. So I'm not worried about a 3 minute candle that's bearish that just opened 1 minute ago because there's still 2 minutes left. Right? And on top of that, this 5 minute is about to come to a close as well. So it's just kind of cool. I don't know. I'm like really like a little nerd when it comes down. Like when I'm sitting here and I'm trading, like the reason why I wanted to run this London session is so you guys can kind of dig into like, because it's a little bit more calm, right? There's not as much shit that's really going to be moving per se, right? Price should really, like this is really the only thing we're focusing on. Obviously we have gold. Gold is doing that thing. Still, it's not really close to where we're looking at in terms of POI for re-entry. So this would just be like, think it out loud, right? It's like, for me, even like something that would really like invalidate this is ideally like the 5 minute. If we were to close below this area right here on the 5 minute, I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned. But the 3 minute, just based off of that, we really wouldn't want to see any closes close back to here. If we do, then that is really just leading to me to believe that, all right, we're just going to take this low. Because as of right now, understand, London session just started. So in terms of the high and low of the day, basically, as we stand at this current point, this is the high and the low of the day. So right now, we're kind of trading in between the high and the low of the day. So this is one thing to identify. You have to expect these Tokyo highs and lows to be swept at least once. So kind of having this point of interest right below 2, that's why I said we could come down there at the beginning of this 3:30, especially with the low of the day. That would now be the new low of the day, right? And if it's a quick impulsive wick to the downside, what's fast doesn't last, right? Because we really do have a lot of liquidity all up in here. Like this is all equal lows, so we could see price really break down. But it's like, to me, if it breaks down below this area, I would look probably here for potential reaction. And if we don't react out of here, like I said, it's going to be one of those dump days. But this is why you have to have the flip perspective, so you don't sit here and you get attached to the buy. Because when you're sitting here and you're looking for buys or you're looking for shorts, especially with indices and volatile things, you shouldn't really have price chill around. Like if it's chilling around, that's your sign that, okay, hey, maybe this isn't gonna do that thing. And it's not to sit there and get scared, but it's to sit here and really have a fundamental understanding of just what should be happening. Of course, things are not going to happen picture perfect every single time. It's not going to go exactly the way that you anticipate. But there's common denominators that you're going to identify with your losses that will help you prevent yourself from potentially losing in a way that you potentially lost before in the past. So just really being able to identify that as a whole. Okay? So like I said, 330. If you didn't get in initially right at the top, 330 is probably going to be your re-entry area. Like I said, it came back down to the same area. You could potentially get back in here, but like I said, I think we probably will wick back down at least into this area at the beginning of the next 30-minute candle. Right? Or at least I wouldn't be surprised if we did. Right? Based off the 15-minute 2, 15-minute we're coming, and on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 3-minute, we really filled a lot of insufficiency to the downside. So that's good in terms of what we want to see to have price continue to the up. Right? It's just chilling around. That's ideally what we want to see. We don't want to see price just run impulsively. Right? Until that 330. Once 330 kicks in, that's, like I said, the equivalent of 930. The volatility is really going to kick in, and we're really going to see, okay, right? Are we going to respect this area, or are we going to run the low of the day? Because we have some equal lows right here, and then potentially react out of this area, okay? So this is really what we can anticipate for JUR. Obviously Goldilocks, right? When it comes down to what we're looking for. Right, we want to see price get back to at least 1915. Right, would be like kind of the first type of area I would expect to see kind of a little bit of a reaction. But I don't just like to play the opens of candles. I typically like to see a little bit deeper of a retracement into the bodies of candles, especially on gold. Especially on a particular candle like this. Just seeing this is like the epitome of what this is our institutional area, right? See price gets that break of structure when we close above this area, come back down, we feel insufficiency, we mitigate out of here, and then what do? We get an engulfing candle, we start to drive up, and like I said, if we were to even continue lower, it's like we're going to react out of here, in my eyes. Like, I couldn't see us not at least get into this IPA up here and then continuing lower. So that's why to me, I'm not gonna say that it's gonna go there for sure, but like I would be surprised if gold didn't get to at least 1919 before continuing lower if it were to go lower, right? So that's just my perspective on gold. JUR 30, right? If you took it, like I said, ideally, it's doing like this is nice in terms of giving us this confidence to just potentially take this 930 or 330 re-entry, right? In my opinion, I really think that this will be a good opportunity. If you missed it, right? If you're someone who maybe just doesn't have either the capital to trade like JUR 30 or the indices, what I would definitely do if I were you, I would just sit there and I would take it on like a demo account or something like that, right? I would at least gain the experience of participating and just seeing how volatile it is. Because the thing about indices, if you're not really familiar and you don't trade them often, like the difference between you having a good entry and you having kind of a trash entry is literally a split second. So it's like that one split second can be the difference between you getting in at the top and you getting in literally just not at the top. So that's why it's important to be able to just not hesitate. Like that 1 second hesitation, like I said, is the difference between you having an entry you can break even on versus you sitting there and you know that anxiety you get when you're like, damn, that's not where I wanted to enter. That's typically what ends up occurring. Okay, so like I said, be patient. In terms of the 30-minute, even what we're looking at, like I said, we're anticipating price to literally says there's 18 minutes left in this. What the fuck? This broker is weird. Okay, so 3 minutes left. Yeah, so like I said, in terms of what we look for now, we just look for at the beginning of the next 30-minute open, we look for a push down. So obviously based off of this candle closes, we want it to relatively close where it's at. If it closes bullish, that would be beautiful. It doesn't have to. If it closes kind of where it's at right now, that would be fine in my opinion. At the same time, like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but if we were to get a bullish close, that's ideally what we would want to see. But I really feel like 3:30 we're gonna get that push down, that pop down. Is there anybody that has any like questions? Or, like, is there anything that, like, is everything making sense? Who's still with me? Drop a yes if everything is making sense. If you're still alive with me in the cut. Is anything making sense? Is anybody kind of having breakthroughs? Anybody making money? EU? Yeah. Mr. Squidward knows in my pants. That's a funny name. Yeah, we'll take a look at EU. Von Mr. Bias. Trust. I'll take a look at EU probably in another couple of minutes. I just want to see how this 3:30 opens. Like, you already see the volatility kicking in with the JER 30. So I just want to see if we could potentially get another pop down. I just want to see if I could stack on a little bit more to this position. Get what I'm saying? My bro was in full incognito mode and he said, alright, I'm going to go in the chat. I'm going to be trolling, but I can't reveal my true identity. That's funny. I'm rocking with the gang though. 19 seconds. What do we anticipate is gonna happen? EU. Is there anything else that anyone else wants to look at? You guys only trade what I trade. You only trade JER, the indices, and gold. Because if that's the case, I'm cool with that. I'll go over some silver and I'll show you guys my secret weapon that I look at when it comes down to just metals and confirmations. Please come down, JER. Don't just fly, man. Don't just fly. Don't just do that, man. Come down. Come down to my box. Come down to my magic box so that everyone could get an entry. Because everyone was scared. So now no one's going to be scared. Because I told everyone it's going to come back to the box. So now when it comes back to the box, we have to expect that it's going to tap this and boop. Like, you see these arrows? It's not for manifestation purposes, you know. This is for like, this is like the Matrix, you know. I don't even know what I'm saying, man. I'm just hoping it comes down. Please don't go up, man. Don't do that. Like I said, I want some Beniana's money. Right now, in the 15-minute Don't True Say, it looks like we're probably gonna go higher, right? Like I said, in terms of the 5-minute, 3-minute IPA fills, those all got filled. 15-minute fill is down here. So realistically, like, if you were to hypothetically take a position here, it's like, this is kind of how I would stop loss. Like stop loss would literally be right below here, super tight. I wouldn't even put a full position on it. I'd put on like half of your position, because to me I really think it's gonna go. It doesn't look like we have reason to come back down. Like I said, I like to be cautious, right? I haven't traded Jur in a little bit, so that's why I was saying that ideally could come back a little bit lower. Clearly today it's not as manipulated as typically our other friends, Nasty Nas and Dirty 30. But yeah, in terms of that, we will pop up Euro USD, or do I have that pulled up? I need to clear my log. So much shit. Boom. Euro. So taking a look at Euro. Oh, this looks beautiful. Euro on the weekly looks like this is our target right now. So Euro on the weekly looks like we just came back, we mitigated. It looks very clean in terms of just weekly structure towards the upside. It really looks like overall, hindsight, this is where we're targeting in terms of just insufficiencies that just really stick out very clear on EU. So overall on the weekly, I would anticipate obviously EU to just continue higher, right? In terms of even the daily time frame, it looks like we had a daily IPA that was kind of aligned with that that weekly, right? Weekly point of interest in terms of 4 hour wise, right? 4 hour wise looks like we got some accumulation. Okay, so look, when it comes down to just really this as a whole, right? You could have really, like this, in terms of just the schematic. Let me pop it up for you guys, right? If you guys want to go back and check just the last couple of days of lives, I'm going to re-upload them to my actual channel and title them. But in terms of wick off, right? What we typically look for, like I said, in that selling climax, what we want to see is like a break above just a previous lower high, right? Just a break of structure, but it's not a valid break of structure because what we're looking for immediately after is that previous low to get taken, which would invalidate that buy structure, right? So that would bring us to our secondary test in phase B. Then, like I said, we typically are going to see a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of price action be created, and then from there we're going to get that spring, which captures everything. Then from there, the test areas are going to come back to that secondary test and that selling climax, right? In this particular area, like I said, this would be our selling climax. This would be our secondary test. This would be our spring. Okay, so we really break back down just lovely, right? If we sit here and we look at the secondary test and then now we break it down to just that institutional area, this is just fractal. This is typical. Like this is like literally what we look for. With the wick down, you can tell that was a run on liquidity. We had a lot of liquidity, lows right here. That's why that wick below there is, people might get scared of it because they're like, it looks like we're going to go lower. But in reality, all this really did was hit the stop loss of people who bought in here, people who bought in here, people who bought in there, right? So a liquidity run and liquidity being captured, ideally, what do you want to see? You want to see price go in the opposite direction. Okay, so in terms of EU, what I would anticipate, like I said, is truthfully just a continuation towards the upside, right? I really wouldn't want to see price continue lower. In my opinion, it just wouldn't make sense based off of what we're looking at right now. In terms of fill wise, it looks like we're filling very clean. Like the fact that we didn't break down below just this structure, right? We came back down, mitigated after we made a new higher high. Ideally, like I said, there shouldn't really be anything stopping us till this high based off of like the 4 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour wise, as long as we close above this hour, so in the next 23 minutes, as long as we close where we're at, ideally what we could expect to see is probably just a quick little wick back down. We might not wick to the whole body of the candle, but I would anticipate at least to tap the open. So I would probably look something more or less like this. The only way I could see, because even in terms of the hourly structure, we never actually broke below this low. So the only thing that I could see really stopping us is if we just fill this IPA and then continue lower. But off the hourly, it just wouldn't make sense. 30-minute wise, it looks like we did break below this low, but to me, I would have really wanted to see this low get broken to just validate that structure. But this is one thing to keep in mind too for EU, that this would be the only thing that stops us really from going higher. But overall, I would expect to see that continuation. Gold, like I said, I really would just want to see us continue to go higher. Leading into New York session, that's kind of what we discussed. If we can get a dip down, that'd be lovely, but I just don't think we'll probably get it in this hourly candle. It just wouldn't make sense to me, because in my eyes, if we're just going to be that bearish, like I said, this hourly candle should close bullish. If we get this bullish close on the hourly, the next candle could kind of fuck around and close bearish, and like that's cool, right? Because ideally, if it comes back down, we want to see us come back to this candle, right? Ideally in terms of the 4 hour, right? We want to see it come back to here, but the top of this imbalance aligns, right? Because right above our institutional area, this is a slight little imbalance we have in the market. So this literally aligns perfectly with what I was telling you about that 1915 on the dot point of interest at quarter level. So if you guys are not too familiar with quarter theory, it's just being able to use numbers, right? Everything is fractal. If you guys are familiar with someone by the names of Nikola Tesla, right? He's someone that, understood the power of numbers. So you guys should really just look into the correlation of numbers and how you guys could potentially use that to gain just potential entries. Let's take a look back quickly at JER. So 3:30 open, and we didn't really do too much as of right now. It looks like we're kind of lagging around, so this is still, you could be hopeful for potential re-entries for us to come back down to this area. Like I said initially, if you miss this first wick, right, which is where we were looking initially, to me it's okay. Like I said, this in itself is, we don't really have to push too much lower than here. So just depending on how big your stop is, how much risk you want to take, you could potentially take longs. If you wanted to wait till obviously we came back down, then that's cool too. That just really shows discipline. Like I said, sometimes the best trade is no trade. So if it doesn't make sense for you, shit, don't take it, right? Nobody's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to do nothing. GU looks like we low-key could melt. So daily, did we close above? Daily looks like we actually didn't close above this high right here. So in terms of a daily time frame, we definitely could see a little bit of a reaction to the downside. Overall, taking a look at it, like ideally overall, oh no, this is UJ. I was like, whoa. I was like, why does this look so much more bullet? Okay, so this is UJ. Okay, funny that we're on UJ. The fact that this shit is so, like, it looks like it's gonna fucking stop, drop, and roll. This is perfect for what we're looking for in terms of gold. Because if you guys understand gold and USD JPY, you should understand for the most part they're gonna be doing the complete opposite, right? So in terms of the correlation that they have, the US dollar is on the front of JPY. So where you sit there and you typically trade XAU USD, you have to understand USD is on the second part, right? So if the dollar is going down, right, what that means is obviously, right, dollar is going to be weaker in here, right? And what we're typically going to see is obviously downward movement. But on gold, right, if the dollar is weak, what we're going to see is the opposite. We're going to see upward movement, okay? So for me, what I would be looking for potentially for GU, it looks like we might just fill this and go. Like this is really like, I don't know if we'll come back up to it, because this is the high of the day. Just looking at the 5-minute, the fact that we came back, we got that mitigation, everything else is pretty clean. So we could really just get a continuation from here. If we get back up to here, it would be quick. It would just be a quick little wick fill, and it would get a continuation lower. But ideally, USD JPY looks like we're going to continue to the downside. So if you guys wanted to take USD JPY for shorts, it looks good. Right now, let's pull up GU. Because I almost had a heart attack with GU being that high. I'm like, what? What is happening? I mean, that wasn't making sense to me, but this makes a lot more sense, right? So taking a look at this, 30-minute wise, right? We broke above here. So we got that break that we look for in terms of structure, right? By us breaking above here. The reason why this and not this area is going to be our break of structure is because this area, in perspective to just this range that we're playing in, right? Our valid higher low, right, was this, right? So when we broke below this low, right, where did we end up stopping? We stopped here. Okay, so this is why, to me, once we sit here and we get this bullishness towards the upside, I'm looking at this as the break of structure, right? So I know a lot of people probably confused, like they would play this area because they're like, yo, this high. To me, this is the break of structure, right? So cool, like we're probably going to close above this right now, but what I would anticipate first is something like this, right? So we can see this imbalance, a little bit of imbalance there on the 15-minute. Yeah. Because to me, if we don't react out of here, like I couldn't see us really, like, I guess we could, 15-minute wise, right, get a reaction out of here. I don't really trade GU, so I don't know how it reacts in terms of just structure. So that's why, like, you know, I'm looking at it. I'm just giving you my perspective. So I don't know if it's as manipulative as gold, because for me, it's like there's certain areas I'm going to play on gold where maybe on the indices, I'm not going to be looking at the same area, right? So ideally, at least I would anticipate something like this. The reason why I wouldn't really want to see this area be revisited just based off of how the market opened, right? That little wick, all we're doing is running liquidity, right, from the previous day's low, and then immediately we get that 15-minute break, right? So to me, like I said, it would have to be quick. We want to see a wick come in here. I really wouldn't want to see candles or bodies close in there if we were. But like I said, this would still be a point of interest to me as well. I wouldn't like completely just disregard it. But this is what I would be more looking to see, just on an immediate aspect, to see price continue higher. But to see this come all the way down here, at that point for us to come all the way down here, to me, that's a green light in my eyes for us to then just at least continue. To me, the only thing that we probably get a reaction outside of the high is probably that. UJ, I think we'll take the high on 145. Yeah, it definitely looked like, to me, I'm not saying that it'll necessarily fall right now. I definitely could see that just because obviously there's news. So with gold, that would kind of align with what I was looking for. Shit, where did UJ go? So 145 on the daily. Yeah, like to me it would make sense for us obviously to just like fully take those highs, right? And even potentially just get a wick into here. But obviously that would more than likely be with like the news. So that's kind of, to me, overall direction, right? I could see us falling, but absolutely right. It's like we closed in terms of the daily, like I said, just below. But when we get closes like that, ideally what we would want to see is just a very bearish, like we'd want to see us basically damn near engulf this candle. So if we kind of fuck around, and to me, like, I think obviously if we don't take it today, then we take it tomorrow or like the next day. So I definitely could see that happening as well for sure, Matthew. Good to see you, brother. in the cut. This is your time zone, huh? I'm in your domain. Right. What's Jur doing? Like I said, Jur. Maybe we come back down into this area. Right. Maybe we take the low. Right, at this point in the shit, maybe we take the low. Right, to me, the 30-minute would really just have to... there's still no wick on the downside. Yeah, we still have... I don't know why it says fucking 27 minutes. That's so weird. But just the 30-minute, how it had no wick on... Well, it fucking has a wick now, right? But before it having no wick, that's ideally what we would have wanted to see. Like I said, price not going too much lower than that area. Based off the 15-minute, that was our just confirmation, really. More or less, just on... Okay, is price gonna just really continue higher from here, or is it gonna continue lower? And that's how you kind of validate and invalidate just particular entry areas to avoid just potential... Like, you don't want to be sitting there and just like doubting yourself, right? So you want to sit here and you just want to make it make sense. Like, you don't want to sit here and, for example, a lot of people, right, you guys didn't necessarily take that first initial wick down here, but then I called out a re-entry area, and it's like we came back here, we tapped it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So it's like we hit the re-entry area 4 times, and it's like out of 4 times, if you still didn't take that, that's where you have to sit here, and it's like that's what I'm talking about when I say second doubting yourself. It's like, what else are you waiting for? If we have a point of interest, it's like, for you to have this point of interest marked up, then for example to enter in here, it's just like it doesn't make sense, because then boom, look what happens. Come back down and tap one more time, right? Or even if it goes lower, it's like if you're not entering at your POI, that is literally why a lot of people lose stupid money. It's like you sit there and you anticipate you're gonna lose 30 pips, but because you enter 10 points, 15 points above where you anticipated, now your risk reward is all the way fucked up, right? So this is just something to pay attention to. With it coming to the hourly, the end of the hourly, like I said, we just don't really want to see like this type of close in terms of the hourly. We don't want to see this engulfing candle, because like I said, what we really want to see is that third consecutive yeah, these candles are weird, so I don't even know how accurate this hourly is, to be honest. This is just fucked in comparison to the other one. But based off of what this price action is telling me, like I said, this shit, according to my calculation, price should not go lower than here unless it is going to dumpity dump, right? But as of right now, right, Jur getting that reaction, so hopefully you may have re-entered again. Like I said, like, I don't know how many times. Like I said, we were sitting there, I was telling you how many times you missed it. Then the universe was like, hey, Cash, here, look, I'm gonna do it one more time for them just to show them. The shit came back down. That's crazy. Like, do you guys think that's a coincidence? I'm sitting here saying that, and then boom, it just drops down, stop, drop, and rolls. You guys think that's a coincidence? No, that's the universe listening. See, it's listening. Look at it. It's coming back for you guys. Stop being scared. No, I'm just playing. But ideally, yeah, this is Jur. I expected more, you know? I'm kind of disappointed, right, with the open. I guess I'm just disappointed because I didn't get my full position on from the bottom. Goldie is running. She's a runner. She's a track star. Right, so even same with gold overall, right? I think I'm gonna do a lesson on this. I'm gonna do a case study on just the accumulation. To me, if we take this high, I'm gonna drop that case study, because then to me it would be valid. But as of right now, things are looking good, right? Things are looking good. Like I said, it's just a matter of news runs the low, so whoops. News flips us, oops. Right? Like I said, ideally, I want to see just a strong close above this whole, like this IPA right here. This is what, just to me, this is where I'm probably going to partial out a little bit of my longs. Because I haven't really touched them yet. Like, I literally just adjusted my stop loss. My stop loss was literally five pips, give or take, from like my best entry. I think from my worst entry is about 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken, just including spread. So being able to sit there, risk 5 to 9 pips for 40, right? That could have been potentially like a damn near a 1 to 10. Okay, so it's just being able to sit there. It's like a 1 to 8, almost 1 to 9, right? So being able to catch a 1 to 9, just not even on half the move that you're looking for, like that's how we're gonna be able to break even, partial out, and pay ourselves, and just reduce risk. Like all of these things that negate the potential to lose get eliminated by enhancing the ability to enter at areas that are just gonna be realistic in terms of like entry points. We don't just want to enter just to enter. Like I said, like I'm not just gonna sit here and say buy gold here because fuck it, we think it's gonna go up. It's like we wanted it to come back down here. Like I said, if you guys were in my team chat, you guys would have had buys from the bottom. But it's like shit, you're not in the team chat. If you guys weren't in, even if you were in the free bootcamp chat, I literally dropped this shit in the free bootcamp chat. So I'm saying I'm not stingy. Like I don't drop signals. I really just drop my trade ideas, right? It's really all I do, right? So I dropped the trade idea, gave 2 areas. Basically, I gave you how I would have broke down the stop loss, right? The first area we would have risked 9-10 pips, right? And we got a nice little pop, right? Little 1 to 1, right? Then obviously, if you had your stop below the low, you would have been lit. For me, I'm stingy. I'm not. Didn't have it below the low. No, it's definitely I'm stingy. I have my stop right below here. I had 3 to 7 pip stop, right, between my entries. And then here, like I said, 5 to 9. So that's what I talk about with just the patience of being able to position yourself in the market, right? Jur 30 coming all the way back down. So with it coming all the way back down, right, no wick on the top of this 3-minute candle, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's going to wick up and it's going to fly. But I'm also going to sit here and use my logic and just really say that, okay, if it closes basically where it's at right now towards the ending of the hour, it's probably going to continue lower. But I just gave you the reality of the situation, right? We're not going to know for another 7 minutes. But, like I said, if this is really going to go up, it's going to, I guess, this area, like I said, if it starts to even remotely go closer to this bottom, like I couldn't not see us running this low. Okay? So this is like the best area in terms of like an R&R aspect in terms of what we are looking for with just potential positions. So if you didn't take it, or if you just got hit out, or whatever the case may be, right? It's like boom. Right? This could be it. But I also would sit here and advise you, like I said, this shit just looks like it's gonna fuck them out. So I'd wait till the hourly close if you were gonna sit here and look to like just take like full size positions. Like I would take a little bit if you sit here and you just wanna play the 3-minute. Because like I said, if we don't break below this 3-minute, don't be surprised if we just explode up, just the indices, okay? But at the same time, like I said, just based off the 15-minute as well as the 30-minute now, this is just not looking so hot. Because like I said, with just the low of the day being right above liquidity, like we could tap this and go higher, but I doubt it, right? To me, I feel like we're going to break down into this area. And if we don't even respect that area, like I said, we easily are just going to dump down. To me, like I said, I feel like this imbalance will probably get a little bit of a reaction because at that point we would have captured so many lows. But at the same time, it all depends on just how this hourly closes as a whole. Like I said, even though we wicking below, it's like if it flies up within the next 5 minutes and we manage to somehow close bullish, it's like that'd be cool, right? But you can't sit here and now, because you wanted to buy it, sit here and just keep trying to buy it. Like if your area gets invalidated, it's like keep it pushing unless there's like a valid reason to like re-enter. Like let's say for example, like it just wicked out all the way to this low and then boom, it closed all the way up here. It's like, okay, cool. Like that's one of those scenarios where it's like you can't really be like upset per se. Like you can't really be tripping because it's like, okay, clearly that was a liquidity run. But it's like, now how can you put yourself in a position for the next time that potential liquidity runs? Like, how can you maybe get in at that liquidity run? Like, did you even identify that? Like, was that even something that was on your radar that could have been a possibility when it came down to positions in the market? Because maybe if it wasn't, maybe you now learn something that then allows you to position yourself at just a higher rate moving forward to avoid getting hit out the same way that you just learned. Damn, maybe if I didn't do this, right? And even looking at the 15-minute too, it looked like this little imbalance that we had, we really just been coming back down and just kind of crunching back down and filling that. On my broker, the imbalance is actually a little bit lower. Teensy bit lower. So to me, that's just one thing to keep in note. Like, it's basically we're in the imbalance right now, whereas this current like price action that we're looking at is trading a little bit below. So like I said, I don't know, I still like it, but we just have to see 3 minutes what happens, right? Do we take this whole low? Do we crank that soldier boy? Like I said, you have to just take what things are giving you, but at the same time you have to sit here and you just have to wait for these candle closes as well. And this broker's all the way fucked up, like we already established. Like, look, the hourly candle on this, look at this shit. This does not look the same. So this is why I'm not really regarding the hourly candle on that, just because this one, it's like, it does not look like that shit. I'm kind of just basing it based off of like what the broker that I'm using. So that's why I'm kind of just more or less looking at the hourly on that one. And the 15-30 minute on that one, whereas like the hourly 30 minute on like this hourly candle, I'm just like, this should be illegal. 8 cap, right? For all of you guys that use, what is it, the funded trader, then is that the funded trader? I think that's what it is, right? So this really looks like, I said, we're just gonna take the low. So to me, like I said, I'd really be chilling. Like, if we could wick into here and then we could get a candle close right above, I would look to re-enter maybe, right? If it was just healthy structure, right? Like I said, I would expect a wick into this area, even lower, like I said, the imbalance. So I wouldn't necessarily just look to see it react right away out of there. It's just more or less like, are we going to close above that area? And even right now, like I said, if we just close where we're at on the 15-minute, let's say we just wick down right at the beginning, like, we could just fucking rock it. So it's like, don't underestimate necessarily what's happening, because one thing I tell you guys too is like, we're not going to play with the low today, right? We're not just going to sit here and come and test this shit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Like, if we're coming here, we're either going to take this low or we're going to fucking flip and we're going to take the high, right? There's not really, in my eyes, going to be any in-betweens, and it just wouldn't make sense if we were like based off of what we're looking for, right? So that's why I'm sitting here and I'm saying, like, okay, you just have to look at both perspectives, right? So, yeah. Do you use Prosperity as your broker? I haven't used Prosperity in a little bit. I use Envy, but Envy, and then I also use like the MyForex broker. Whatever broker, the traders, international, whatever, Trader Global Incorporated, LLC, important group, them motherfuckers, right? So, yeah, in terms of that, like, like I said, boom, we took the low. You can see right at the beginning of the hourly how we just, like, literally we gap down. So this is what I said, we're not just gonna not take this low. So this area might actually be nice, right at the beginning. So you would have took like a maybe 10-15 point loss on that, but that's cool because, like I said, just how this candle open, right? We took the low today. So at the very least, in terms of shorts, we probably come back up to this area, right? So in terms of longs, our first target area would obviously be like those 2 black lines, and like that's where we would look to potentially see a reaction, okay, towards the upside, so, or towards the downside again, right? To see that continuation, like we mentioned. So you could be on your hands, right? You could not, like I said, I personally like just how impulsive this candle open, like I said, with just how it closed too. It's just a very ugly candle close in terms of just seeing that healthy price action. So, yeah, shit. This is what I say, being able to kind of have the perspective of what to look for. Because I gave you the perspective of what I anticipated in terms of how we probably would have got down here. But then I also told you, like, if we're running these lows, like, we're gonna, like, we're not just gonna, we're not just gonna come back down and not fly. Like, we would have to, like, fly damn near, right? So even with this, it's like the first minute, like I said, it's a volatile open. So 5 minute wise, even looking at this candle, it's like if we push below, like if we push below the body of this candle, like I said, with this wick on the 5 minute, this is one thing that I talk about a lot on the stream, just seeing having a wick that's bigger than 5 to 10 points, 5 to 10 pips on smaller than the 15-minute time frame. Like I said, so this to me, even in itself, is liquidity. So this is why I said as soon as it comes into the candle, it's like we could see a little bit of a bounce, but with this wick right here, right, we definitely could see price drop even lower right at the start. So that's one thing to keep in mind, right? It's just this wick is giving me just the whole idea and understanding that, okay, what we need to see is price ideally obviously go up, but it shouldn't lag around really, right? Like I said, at this particular area, if it lags around, then to me that's just your sign that it's just kind of baiting buyers into the market to then, right, trickle, and then boom, dump. But based off of just how volatile, you can see just how we're dropping, like I said, this wick, what's right below this wick? This imbalance. Okay, so that to me would kind of be our next little POI, right? If we're able to sit there and actually get an opportunity to like get a reaction out of there, right? Because that would virtually be like the bottom of like that hourly candle that would just validate even why we were looking for the longs to begin with. So that's more or less the way that I'm kind of looking at this. So like I said, you could kind of do what you want. I personally just took a position, right? Once we ran this low, came back into the wick, right? That to me is sufficient enough. I took a small position, like I said, just because we could just fill this and continue lower. So I'm really going to be seeing how we fill this. Because realistically, based off of us taking the low now, like I said, we're not just going to take the low of the day and get a reaction to the upside and now not take all of this liquidity. Right? So from even a target standpoint, like I said, it's just you always want to have a target. If you don't have a stop loss and a target, then you don't want to ideally be taking positions, right? Because let's say we enter off the 100% of this candle, right? Stop loss, to me, you'd want to see below the wick. But it's like at this point, I wouldn't even want to see. That's why we waited for it to dip, right? We waited for it to dip below to see how far it would push through, right? And now this 5 minute candle close, right? We can see it's closing above this structure, which is nice, right? Or, well, 16 seconds left. As long as it closes above that, right, that could really sit here and shape how the rest, like to me, it's not just going to run, right? So it's not just going to be one candle dip down here. Like the next 15-minute candle too will more than likely give an opportunity. So this is why you could sit here and wait, right? You could wait to just put on a full position, right? Because now in terms of the 5 minute, it's like I wouldn't want to see 5 minute wise us, like to me 5 minute wise, it just looks, this is how price should be, right? If we're going to continue higher, right? So with the 5 minute open, just ideally no wick on the top, we'd want to see it just run, right? But as soon as this top side, this wick, as soon as that goes, like if it were to come back down now, then it's going to go lower. Like to me, this bullishness should maintain. So this is exactly kind of what I was trying to explain. Like it's wild that it really just did exactly kind of what I was sitting here and trying to put into words, but we see that, all right, cool, we get a little bit of reaction, that's fine, right? It doesn't have to just run straight, but it's like I'm not going to want to sit here, and I wouldn't be confident if it came all the way back down here and even pushed lower. If it did, then to me, that's your sign, okay, calm. Wait for the 15-minute close, because the 15-minute close, like I said, as long as we close above, like truthfully even this low, right? But I like this just because the 5-minute candle is in alignment with that. So to me, that 5-minute as well as even hourly, right? Or at least on my broker. We already established that this hourly candle is a little fugazi. Did gold come back for us? Did gold come back for us? Nope. GU come back for us? Nope. What do you guys think this is? Comeback day? Nope. Oh, EU? EU came back, gang? Right? So EU. This was your EU re-entry. Shit. Forgot about EU, right? This is kind of what we were talking about, right? Come back to the body of that candle. If you were to have a stop loss to me below this wick, to even this first little target IPA is like a 1 to 6, right? To the high. To the high is a 1 to 22, right? It's not saying everything's fractal. Like, everything moves the same. Like, even though I don't really trade Forex, it's like I could position myself into Forex if I really sat here and just like broke things down. Like I said, like with the 3-pip stop loss, like shit, it's not a bad potential take, because it's like if you just get in with a 3-pip risk, you're already up. Like I said, a 1 to 1, you're up 3.5 pips. You're up 3.3 pips. You risk 3.3 pips. It's like, how do you sit here and how do you lose, right? Because if you break even after we make a new high every single time, it's like, yeah, you're gonna get hit break even a decent amount of times, but if you're really entering in phase C, phase D, accumulation, distribution, what you're going to start to see is that ability to get trades just for buys and sells, but then get that continuation. Like, I think getting that continuation is like the most satisfying feeling as a trader, and I think a lot of people miss out on it because they're entering a little bit too early, right? And they don't even understand, like, oh man, I'm entering, like, why is this happening? Like, I'm getting hit out 10 times and then it's finally going in my direction, and it's like, yeah, stupid, you entered in phase A and phase B 20 times. You thought it was a break of structure, but in reality, it was just that selling climax. If you know we're accumulating and we're getting a selling climax, what do you have to expect after? Secondary test. What is a secondary test going to do? Well, in terms of just validating that it's a secondary test, it's going to close below the low. Okay? So, that in itself, like I said, is just a little food for thought when it comes down to just trading as a whole, right? Don't sit here and kind of get psyched out of your cards, out of your marbles, you know, because it's like it's real life when I say, like, trading is 90% psychological. It's really, the technical stuff is easy, but it's the repetition that makes it difficult. People are just not consistent. People can't put in the repetition to lose, you know, trades over and over for weeks and even months at a time in a row, and then just take something away from each loss and apply it every single time. So it's, you're losing the same way, but you're sitting here and you're able to just grow so much because you're not able to see everything. It's like, when I say a puzzle, it's like, imagine you have like 1,000-piece puzzle, 5,000-piece puzzle. When you put the first 7 pieces together, you're not going to know what the fuck that picture is, right? Unless you look on the box, right? But if you just get a puzzle dropped in front of you and you're trying to figure out, all right, what is this puzzle, right? You have to really sit there and be willing to have the vision, right? You have to be willing to sit there and just really be able to put pieces together that you never would have thought would have fit, right? Because then what you're going to start to do, once you start putting all these different pieces together from different places, you're going to realize, like, damn, I'm starting to see the vision a little bit more clear, right? I'm starting to see just what I wasn't able to before, because instead of just attempting to, like, see something and, you know, that's what it is. It's like, you really have to look into it, right? It's like, a lot of people a lot of people hear things on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people hear just trading nuggets. They hear mindset nuggets. They just hear a lot of things. But I want to ask you, how many of you guys actually listen? So you hear, but how many of you are listening? And that is really the biggest. Like, this is what I want you guys to, like, I want this to sizzle in your spirit leading into the weekend. Like, are you really sitting here and doing what we're supposed to? Like, this is something that really just needs to, like, it needs to matter. Like I said, it needs to matter. It needs to matter when you lose. It needs to matter when you win, because you have to sit there and you have to learn. Like, you can't just sit, like, it's not that it matters because it makes a difference. It's just it matters because there's something to learn from. There's something to grow from. I don't care if you won. You could have had the best trade ever, but there's something that you probably could have done a little bit better. And if you just always look at yourself like, damn, I'm the best, it's like, you need to have the confidence that you're the best. That's the type of confidence you need to have when you're pressing the buttons. The type of confidence you need to have when you're back testing and when you're sitting there looking at your trading view and you're looking at your MetaTrader 4 history. Yeah, you gotta have a different type of confidence, right? A different type of humble. Like, you gotta sit there and you gotta stop just justifying dickhead stuff. Like, we be doing a lot of stuff that's just unjustifiable, like, straight up, right? Dollar, right? Like I said, I haven't cared to look at dollar the whole week because, like I said, based off of the week, I told you guys on Monday, this is why I really haven't traded this whole week. I said I'm not tripping on gold until Friday, because I'm like, realistically, this would be the fourth consecutive bullish candle, right, that we would get in terms of the weekly. But just in terms of structure, like I said, like, shit, I'm really looking to see DXY break down, right? Just especially off the daily too. To me, this daily insufficiency, this overall daily structure is bearish. Like, there's nothing bullish about this on the daily. So until we break above this, to me, this is why I'm anticipating the dollar to break down. We just, like I said, I've had this area marked up since we took this, and I've had this area marked up since motherfucking here. So this is why it's like, when you sit here and you look at the weekly, you look at the monthly, you look at just the higher time frames when it comes down to the dollar, and you have to understand, if you're trading indices, if you're trading Forex, right? If it has a dollar attached to it, if you just knew that dollar was going to be going bullish for the majority of the last couple of weeks, that probably would have changed the bias that you had on a lot of the Forex pairs that you had. Right, but you guys are just looking at DXY on the hourly and the 4 hour, and you're wondering why you're getting got. I hate looking at DXY on the 4 hour and 1 hour because it's fucking bipolar. It doesn't even make sense sometimes. Right? Hourly structure is maintaining right now, which is nice, but for the most part, it just be doing random shit. Right? I don't know when DXY is gonna randomly fill and fucking do something like this and run out and hit me out, right? In terms of my shorts. Right? And then, so this is really what we have to, this is why we're looking for gold longs, right? This is why we're looking for gold buys. This is why we're anticipating longer term, higher time frame gold buys. It's because we're motherfucking looking at sells on the weekly for DXY. Okay? So, what happened? Right, like I said, boom. Running for this imbalance. We could really just run now too. Like I said, we've kind of captured enough liquidity. This fill would be fucking beautiful, like I said, if we could get it. But at this point, like I said, we've kind of captured enough to the downside. Even if we're going to continue lower, like I said, we're going to come back up and we should fill this up here. So in terms of JUR, like I said, you could wait for this IPA to get filled, right? Or you could just ideally kind of just wait on the sidelines and see if we come back up here to get short re-entries. But the one thing is too, is that if we react out of here, for example, and then we come back up to this area, it's like, if we don't react out of here, then we're going to take that high. Because like I said, we're not going to take the low of the day and then not make a new high. Okay? So it's just being able to understand those fundamentals based off of just the experience. Like I said, for us, we were trading in this range. What do we talk about in terms of wanting to see the markets do, right? This was a little consolidation right at the market open. We created a little bit of a range. What do we do right at London open? We capture not only yesterday's New York low, today's Tokyo low, but we also capture London session low from the day before, right? So we're basically we just captured 3 or 4 sessions worth of liquidity. We mitigated out of Wednesday's price action, right? So you have to understand, from Wednesday we were bullish, right? We ran about 200-300 points, then we retraced all the way back down to where we were Wednesday, right? We hit out everybody. Like, you really have to sit here and now look at this, right? Because I think we're gonna run from here, to be honest, right? But now what we have to sit here and do is just look like, damn, people were buying all in here. Like, people were buying, right, the last 2 days, and they just all got hit out in their sleep, right, to then have price kind of just run. So to me, just looking at this is exactly how we want to see price kind of just run. So what I would look for, ideally 5-minute wise, it looks like we have a little IPA in here. 3-minute wise, it looks like we have this. So 3-minute wise too, just taking a look at, like, in terms of a 3-minute structure, we want to see ideally a close above that. But because the 5-minute looks the way it does, it's like we really, we don't have to. So what I would expect, like I said, is something like this. So if you took that first L, like I said, it would have been maybe like 20 points in total, which is, nothing in comparison to what we're looking for, right? In terms of a risk to reward. Pennies, right? And you would literally take at most another 15-point risk. To here would be, like I said, 60, right? So just to here, you would make back everything you lost plus triple. Okay? But ideally, like I said, we're looking for this high. So if we get to this high, this would be more or less a 1 to 11. It'd be about 170 points. Okay, so 170 points. And if you just lost 20 points to make 170, that's risk to reward, right? That's the epitome of what we look for when we're looking to take positions, right? This is what we want to ideally do in the market. We want to ensure that we have the highest probability to be able to have that flexibility to lose, right? We're not always perfect, right? Like, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to lose, right? You're going to lose trades at times. Depending on how you manage your position and manage your trades, it's like if you don't have an abundance of capital right now per se, you're not going to be as comfortable with getting a 1 to 3. Because it's going to get to a certain point where you're trading with so much capital, like, you're going to take a 1 to 3 and you're going to be lit with that. Because a 1 to 3 is going to make you like 50K. So you're going to be content. But right now, you're just looking more or less at the dollar amount instead of the percentage gain and the risk to reward. And that's why you're forcing things onto the market instead of just allowing things to flow to you, right? Be in flow state, right? Like Bruce Lee said, be like water. Right? A lot of you guys are not like water, right? You guys are trying to be like Coca-Cola. Was there any other questions or anything that anyone wanted to go over? Like I said, I kind of like the vibes. The vibes are chill. I'm just vibing, looking at the market. Like I said, I'd be up anyway. I'm probably gonna go live again after the news, right? Because I didn't go stream for you guys on Wednesday, so I'm sorry. I didn't stream yesterday either. I apologize. It's definitely been it's been a long week, and I just need to be better with my time. So, there's definitely a lot of like personal things that have been going on, but it's definitely not an excuse that's justifiable, especially if I make a commitment. And that's one thing I want you guys to understand. It's just being able to take responsibility. Like, even though I'm not getting paid for this stuff and I'm doing it voluntarily, it's a free boot camp, like, it's a free pop-up, whatever the case may be. Like, if I say I'm gonna do something, like, all your word is bond. That's all you have in this life. So you really just gotta stay true to what you say. So if you tell yourself you're gonna have a goal, and then you have a change in mentality a week later, it's like, you're not somebody who was built to last. You're not somebody who was built for the longevity of success. Like, I hate to break it to you, like, as nice as possible, right? Do you go back to sleep and wake back up for a few hours? My sleep schedule right now is like, I'm sleeping for like 3 hours, but I'm sleeping at like the most weird times, like 3-4 hours. Like, I fell asleep yesterday at like 9 o'clock. I woke up at like 12 or 1. So I slept for like 4 or 5 hours. But it's like, I just kind of let my body shut down. Like, I don't like to oversleep, but it's like, at the same time, like, if my body is slumped, especially if you're working out in the gym, it's like recovery time is important for just muscle growth. So to me, I'm not gonna sleep for like 2-3 hours like consistently. You know what I mean? If I'm going to sleep for like 2-3 hours in the night, it's because I probably didn't work out that day, right? Because that was probably my rest day. So to me, it's like I took the whole day to rest, and then, you know, I'm okay with sacrificing the sleep because, you know, my body doesn't need as much recovery, right? I didn't really do as much per se, right? Not to say that I'm not gonna do physical activity, but it's just I might not push myself as much. Anybody else have any other questions? Who's still on stream? Drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're on. Right, so 3-minute wise didn't break above this. So I don't like this. I wouldn't look to get back in. I think it goes slower. So 3-minute, I would have at least wanted to see that. Even with the 5-minute having 2 minutes left, it's like we could really react out of here, depending on if a 1 minute. A 1 minute didn't even break, right? So the fact that we didn't even break on the 1 minute, it's like ideally you want to see at least a break of structure to get that confirmation. So the fact that we didn't get the break of structure, like I said, that's just, you know, what's happening is exactly what should be, right? Matthew, Ari. 4 to 5 hours a day, depending, like, truthfully. The last little bit, maybe a little bit more. But in my prime of, like, really just building a business and being an educator, like, I would say I probably, like, I sleep, like, I used to sleep, like, truthfully, like, shit for, like, 3-4 hours a day, bro. Like, I don't know, the way I look at it is if you're broke or just you're not where you want to be in life, like, I don't mind sacrificing the sleep. Like I said, it's like, of course, if your body needs rest, it's like, listen to your body. But it's like, I feel like a lot of the time we sit here and we gotta really just sit here and just, like I said, understand, like, boom, if you're tired, it's like, why are you tired? It's like, you have to sit here and you just have to look at your, like, we as humans were designed to sit here and be able to, like, that humans were designed to sit here and walk 15 miles a day, right? 15 fucking miles a day. That's 15,000 steps, right? So if you sit here and you understand that we as humans, that's in our DNA, what we have to sit here and do is understand that everything that we're consuming is the result to why we're programmed the way that we are, right? It's the food that we're eating. Now you have to understand, if you're eating fast food, if you're eating fucking a chicken sandwich every single day from Chick-fil-A, that's why you're going to be feeling like shit. That's why you're going to be feeling tired. If you're smoking weed all the time, right? That's why you're going to be feeling sluggish. If you're smoking big indica, right? You're smoking indica, you're eating fast food, you're eating junk food. Like, to me, I don't eat no junk food. That's the one thing about me. It's like, I don't snack. And if I snack, to me, I'm eating like nacho chips or like motherfucking like cantaloupe. Like, I had cantaloupe today, like, or like watermelon typically. Like, I don't snack normally. Like, I'm not a snacker. I'm gonna eat. Like, like, I made some jerk chicken today. Like, I'm fucking eat. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's something that we have to sit here and we have to identify. What are we consuming in our bodies, right? Are you drinking a lot of juice? Are you drinking a lot of, like, are you consuming a lot of artificial sugars, right? And like syrups and all of that shit. Like, I don't drink pop. The only thing that I drink is water. Right, the most that I'll really consume is like the sugar out of the motherfucking vanilla almond milk shit that I use for like flavor, right? And it's like, that's like the epitome of like what I drink. I drink coffee and water. Like, I don't know why people sit here and it's like they drink juice, they drink pop, and it's like, when I go to a fast food restaurant, I don't even get pop. Like, I don't get pop. Like, if I'm already eating garbage, it's because, first of all, I'm starving. And it's like, why am I going to sit there and get juice? Why am I going to sit there and get sugar on top of the fact I'm consuming all this sodium and all this sugar and all of this shit? Like, you have to sit here and you have to break that down. Then you have to consume, what am I listening to? Do you listen to audios and personal development all day, or do you listen to music all day? Do you sit here and do you listen to the idiots around you all day who complain and don't try and problem solve and don't just contribute beneficial ideas? Or are you around individuals who are thriving, who are collaborating and are genuinely looking to increase just the proximity that they're in? They're not just looking to be someone who takes advantage of just like everything and everyone around them. Like you want to be able to sit here and be of value and be of service and just be someone that people look up to, right? You just want to be someone who's fucking honorable. Like, that's the best way to put it. Honorable humans do what they know they should, even though they might not want to. Like, working out, it's like, you might not want to work out, but it's like, shit. You might not want to work out, but would you rather not work out, or would you rather have fucking 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 hospital bills because your ass is fucking diabetes and all of this fucking other bullshit, right? That's caused by the bullshit food, right? It's like the food, America, like, you have to understand, if you live in America, your food, Americans, is banned in like fucking like 70 countries. So that in itself should just tell you the shit that they're feeding you is not for you. So it's like, if you sit here and you just take this trade-in shit as a joke, take it as a joke. But that's the reason why you are progressively dumbing yourself down, because you do not have money to go buy high quality motherfucking food. You can't go buy organic motherfucking chicken and organic vegetables that, you know, it might be bad, but it's not gonna be as bad, right? There's not as many GMOs, right? Not as much fucking pesticides and fluoride and chemicals just sprayed all over your shit. And this is the awareness you gotta have. Like I said, some of us are just thinking too small-minded. You're just thinking about money, some of you. You're just thinking about bread. You're not thinking about, like, real life. Cool. Money's cool, but if you're not hip to, like, what's gonna get you better, you're gonna sit there, you're gonna be a millionaire eating McDonald's. The fuck? What type of shit is that? That's some stupid shit. That's what that is, right? So, there's my little rant to anybody that, you know, if you consume that shit, it's like, don't ask yourself why you feel bad. Like, if you feel stressed and anxious, don't ask yourself those questions if you consume any of those things that I just said. It's like, if you feel sluggish, that's why. Your body is like a car or like a computer, and it's like, all the junk food and all that shit that you're feeding it is like downloading viruses into your computer, into your, like, the mainframe of your computer. It's like, if you have viruses just leaking from just the most important parts of your computer, it's like, you can only imagine the type of scenarios and problems that's going to cause, right? And it's like, if we do nothing about it, it's like you're just as big a part of the problem as the person who's causing it, or the person who's putting it out, right? You sitting there and just using the excuses, you know, this is all that was there. No, it wasn't. You were just lazy. You would rather create an excuse. But yeah, gangy, I've been live for a little bit now, so I'm gonna go fucking... Where am I going? Vine, where are we going? Trench life? You guys could catch me in the RP land. You guys play that shit. Trench life. Just got the RP. I'm gonna be up for a little bit. You'll probably catch me live for New York as well. I hope fucking Jer just fucking punches to the moon. To the moon. Shaboom. I hope so. But yeah, in terms of that, gang, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know, we had about 10 plus the whole stream, right? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a pop-up stream, so I'm very appreciative for your time. I know for a lot of you guys, especially in North America, it's pretty late. Like, thank you guys, you know, for obviously staying up. And then even for the EU fam, right? I know Matthew's in the cut too. It's good to see you out here, just in the chat, you know. Like I said, it's good to be around people that just have the same mission, the same goals, and have just been able to obtain success. Like I said, this is something that, you know, Matthew is like, what, year 4, year 3, year 4, year 5, damn near. I don't know if you've been trading it longer than me, but I'm 4 years in, so I'm assuming you're at least 4 years in too. It's like, damn, you know, that's another veteran trader in the cut. So in terms of that, family, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna catch you guys. Peace.